We have about, just to give you an idea, we have about 10 more presenters. Cameron Johnson with the Local Bus Riders Union.
Hello, I'm Cameron Johnson. I'm 15 years old. I'm here with Local, but I'm also here on behalf of the Mount Scott Community Center Teen Volunteer Corps. I'd like to talk about the impact of service cuts on youth again. Because I bet most of you have gotten to talk from your parents similar to when I was a kid. I had to walk to school 7 miles both ways with snow over my head. Nowadays it's more work with more trivial things, as a comedian once put it. When I was a kid, I had no power steering in my new car, but now I figured a nagging story I will have to tell my kids is, when I was a kid, I had to wait 30 minutes for every bus just to get a couple miles down the road. You see, we have 3 groups that use transit that ultimately will be affected by service cuts: adults, senior citizens, and youth. For some adults, it's not as bad. If they have a stable enough income, they can buy a car. For senior citizens, a lot of which rely on transit, they can always use the lift services if they're available. For youth, they can't use the lift services, and most of them are too young or unable to find the vehicles to drive, so they are stuck with transit for the most part. The more you cut service to both bus and MAX, the less options the youth have. Another thing most youth hear from their parents in regards to summer is, don't stay inside all day, go out and do something. I won't be surprised if the youth's response has to be, I wish I could, Mom, but the bus hardly runs today. Or, Mom, it'll take too long. I myself run the risk of losing a lot of activities I was planning because I can't get home by my curfew thanks to the sneaky cuts you implemented on June 6th. I'm turning 16 by next month, and the idea of buying a car is more and more appealing to me. I was originally involved with Opal on an excursion to talk to people about service cuts and to unite them. Most of them, when I asked them, have you heard about the service cuts and the fare increasements? Their response is, what? If I talked to 25 people, some of them were youth themselves, and only 2 people actually knew what I was talking about in regards to September, what do you think the response would be if I said, do you know that there are also service cuts in June? My point is, youth rely on transit. Not many youth are going to go researching on your site to see if there are service cuts coming their way. So while I believe that the service cuts are totally wrong and unnecessary, at least announce them better if you're going to have them. Put up flyers in community centers if you're able to. Announce it in schools. This will make the youth more aware and possibly more active in the area of service cuts. Otherwise, one day they're going to try to go somewhere and the buses are going to come. All their plans for summer will be wrecked. This is going to be one more anecdote they're going to use one day to make their kids more grateful. Except by then, the kids will respond with, big deal, Dad, at least your bus ran more than once a day.
Thanks, Cameron.
Cameron, this is my last board meeting, so I get to say a special thank you to you. I will miss you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Charles Ormsby.
Good morning, Honorable TriMet Board of Directors. My name is Charles Ormsby. I live at 170 Southwest Birdsville Road, Portland, Oregon, 97219-8502. This residence is in Clackamas County and within the Lake Oswego Urban Growth Management Area. I'm here before you today presenting about 3 resolutions that will be affecting the TriMet Board of Directors in the coming 15 to 20 weeks. These resolutions are one immediately affecting us with respect to what is referred to as the Metro Lake Oswego to Portland Transit Project. I did provide you some information earlier by email yesterday. I used TriMet, my emails at Lake Oswego Library. The first one, the one that really concerns us right now, is the request of TriMet to reroute line 35 to emulate the streetcar service proposed between Lake Oswego and Portland, between Portland and Lake Oswego after 2016, as conceptually done in the Metro law process. The map of that is figure 14. It shows a rough rerouting of the TriMet line 35 from the Rose Quarter through downtown Portland on the 10th, 11th Avenue coupling, and somehow getting it over to the Halpern District, then on to Lake Oswego, where it will terminate, and then you'll have a feeder bus line essentially from Lake Oswego to the Oregon City Transit Center. This resolution evolved essentially because in this process, the issue of transfers between modes and vehicles has not been expressed despite my efforts in the past 4 years. So there's a number of things that we want done with this. One, we want to expose the, it's referred to as resolution number 2010.13.11.4, reroute line 35 on the Labor Day provision, so this concurs with the DEIS public comment period, then expose the transfer issues that's sort of been hidden in my opinion since about 2004 May. Request project partners and members on all committees, boards, commissions, councils, and so on to experience weekday, Saturday, Sunday holiday service after this is done. Or you can develop a means of exposing forced transfers and get it to us by about the 9th or 16th of July. And we want to know, again, expose these transfers that are required that haven't been exposed in the modeling process to this date. The resolution before that request specification of target destination for DEIS. This resolution is intended to make the target destination for the that's used in the modeling the Pioneer Courthouse. This has been the crossroads, and this is today the crossroads of 2 TriMet light rail lines, the what as I say is the U.S. meeting Brazil, red and blue meeting the yellow and green at the Pioneer Courthouse, and obviously bounded by 5th, 6th, Morrison, and Yamhill. There was a presentation on Monday night from, I believe, Mr. Cullerton of Metro or URS Consulting. And people are beginning to see through the assumptions that were done in the alternative analysis of having the modeling take place between Lake Oswego and Portland State University. This hides a transfer that is required there. I did it this morning. I walked 7 blocks here. It took me about 7 minutes. I have a pretty good stride. I have shorts on, but if you're in a suit, you don't do that type of pace. If you're walking west to the 10th and 11th Avenues, you're looking at about a 5-block walk, 5 minutes. So there's obviously problems of connectivity with the streetcar to Lake Oswego that we want exposed.
Mr. Orsby, I want to...
I'm finishing up. The third resolution was request release of documents by the project partners, which of course TriMet is amongst them. Specifically, this was intended to get at the streetcar summit documents that were in Washington, D.C., and also with respect to presentations given previously with respect to TriMet addressing the CAC on the issue of crime prevention through environmental design. I would like the PowerPoints of those if I can get my hands on them, and thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we can comply with that request. Yeah. We'll get you those PowerPoints. Thank you very much.